Alright, so recently a bombshell dropped. Amaru went live and called out Miskif, another popular streamer of SA.
And I was crying like crazy because the emotions were just very high because I was dealing with a lot of major shifts in my life as a result of me attempting to start to try to distance myself from him. So yeah, we were just talking and I was crying a lot. He started to try to comfort me by hugging me while I was sitting on the couch and holding me really close to him. And when this was happening, we hadn't talked in quite a while, and I'm usually very uncomfortable with being touched a lot by people that I'm not in a relationship with. But I let him hold me while I was crying. And he started kissing me in my face, and I let him do it. I was still sobbing a lot. And then, suddenly, he tried to climb on top of me and aggressively shoved his hand down my pants. And, I screamed. Yeah. And when I screamed, he jumped off me like a cat, And, instead of apologizing or checking if I was okay, he said, "I feel weird now. I feel like I did something wrong. I have to go." And he immediately left my house while I was still crying without, checking if I was okay or anything. And at the time, I was still making excuses for him, and I was still afraid of causing trouble for other streamers around us, or making things weird for viewers. I know that probably sounds crazy, but I just felt this pressure, I had to try to keep things together, if that makes sense.
Now, of course, everybody's wondering if she's lying or is she telling the truth. Honestly, that's kind of a lie. Not everybody's wondering that. Some people, including me, are like, yeah, this sounds right up the alley with Miskif. I mean, think about it. There's no reason for Amaru to lie about this. There's literally nothing she gains from this. And I know people lie about celebrities and Twitch streamers, assaulting them all the time, but there's always a reason why they're lying. Either it's for attention or for money or for fame, but that doesn't really make sense when it comes to Amaru because she has all those things. So I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but I feel like she's telling the truth. And if it's true, it's pretty awful of Miskif to take advantage of her in a situation where she needed a shoulder to cry on. And it seems like he immediately regretted it after. He pulled his hand away and jumped off of her, but that doesn't change the fact that he still did it.
He would throw bottles, plastic bottles with liquid in it, not glass bottles, at me, despite me telling him I didn't like it and it scared me and I bruised very easily. He would throw his phone at me. I would tell him, it scared me, I don't like it. And one time it even hit me in the eye, which caused me to get a black eye, but he always, was like, "Oh, it's an accident," and I was like, "Oh."
So I had no idea, but apparently they dated on the low-key for a short period of time. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what she saw in Miskif. You can do way better than him. Now, obviously, she was in a very abusive relationship with Miskif. This might come as a shocker, but I don't think you should be throwing bottles at your significant other when you're mad at them. Now, me personally, I think if your significant other is throwing iPhones at you and bottles, you should probably leave. That should be your first sign to get out of there.
And then I check my Discord messages, and he's messaging me. He's saying, "Emmy, I'm gonna kill myself. I'm gonna KMS. I waited so long for this, etc." Basically he was upset because I had higher viewership than him. That's literally it. I had higher viewership than him. And like I said, this is during an event. So there were drops. Everyone knows when there's drops, it's not even fucking real. But yeah, he starts messaging me. He's really upset. I tried to tell him, I was like, "Bro, you should come back and play. Everyone's having fun. Everyone's like wondering where you are. But yeah, he ended his stream. And then I'm still live, you know, trying to act like nothing's wrong.
Ah, yes, the old "I'm gonna kill myself because I don't like this" tactic. So let me get this straight. He threatened to end game himself because you had a higher viewership than he had. I feel like this guy's a little bit too old to be whining and crying about stuff like this. It's like, what is she supposed to do in this instance? She has a higher viewership, so what? That means your stream probably isn't as entertaining as hers. And not to mention, that's also your girlfriend, or at the least your friend at the time. Like, shouldn't you always be wanting the best for them? Well, hold on. Don't want to underrepresent you. You know, you probably do want the best for them, as long as they're not doing better than you. Like, I'm so sick of these streamers acting like literal children. Some of you guys just need to grow up.
And I also wanted to say that I would not be surprised if he tries to sue me for the stream that I did today and for coming out about him. Not because he thinks that he would win, but for PR reasons, like a slap lawsuit. It'd be interesting if that happened, and I wouldn't be opposed to people finding out more of the truth and things that I didn't even talk about today, and what else he's been lying about. And I'm sure there's also plenty of things that even I don't know about. Yeah, there's more things that I didn't even talk about today, but I'm hoping that now that I have this out, this is the last time I ever have to talk about it. I can be like, okay, I got it out there. I'm not withholding this anymore. It's out there.
So it's been 2 days since this drama, and Miskif hasn't sued her yet. Who knows, is he still planning on it in the future? But I guess he realized how bad of a PR stunt it would be to sue and not respond, or at least talk about it and try to explain his side of things, because he actually would make a response to this whole situation. And he pretty much was like, she doesn't take care of her rabbits. Okay, what does her rabbits have to do with anything? We're talking about you here, not her rabbits.
Emiru has a lot of rabbits. It was her calling when she first moved in. These were a big part of her life. But as those rabbits moved out of her room and into the living room, they started to see disgusting neglect. No food, no water, sometimes not having clean bedding for weeks. I, along with many others who would come over, would give them what they needed, and I would tell her all the time to take care of them, but to no avail. She completely neglected those rabbits, so much that many of them just died over 1 year of being around in my house. My cleaning ladies would clean them just because they felt terrible, and my brother once came over and said, and I quote, "If you ever marry this woman, I'll never forgive you."
And it's pretty obvious that he's just trying to neglect the blame of, you know, abusing Emiru and sexually assaulting her by saying that Emiru doesn't take care of her rabbits. Yeah, that's great, but what about the allegations against you? That's what people want to hear about. It came off to me like, oh, well, Emiru doesn't take care of her rabbits, so she's not the greatest person either. But we'll talk about his response in a different video. Right now, I just want to focus on Emiru's response and other streamers' response to Emiru's callouts. One of those responses I want to mention is Asmongold's response, which, if you don't know, Asmongold is an OTK member, which, if I'm not mistaken, is the group that Miskif started.
Always was bad vibes. I mean, you know, in a way, like, there's a part of me that feels kind of responsible in a way, because, like, I wish I had just known more. If I was able to just know more and be more assertive and, you know, everything. But at the end of the day, I mean, I can't really fucking know everything, and I don't think anybody thought it was as bad as it was. And I apologize for, you know, platforming Miz to the extent that I did. It was a mistake. I didn't know it at the time, but it was a mistake.
And yeah, oddly, it seems like nobody in OTK or anybody who was in his circle are defending him, which makes me believe that they probably think he's guilty as well. I have a feeling that this is probably not just one instance. He probably has done something like this to multiple people in the stream sphere. So I wouldn't be surprised if other female Twitch streamers came out with their own stories. And Amaru even said herself that Miskif did even more. So I wonder what else evil stuff this guy has done. And if you're wondering if anybody from OTK knew what was going on between Amaru and Miskif, some streamers knew directly because Amaru told them what was going on. Some had no idea, and others were speculating that something was going on between Amaru and Miskif.
I want to make it clear that not everyone that I interact with or that I'm friends with knew the extent of the things that were happening. And a lot of streamers didn't really know anything at all, but I mean, like I said before, people aren't stupid. I think it's pretty clear that a lot of people knew that things were happening, and like I said, you have to remember, it's not just me. A lot of people have told me that they have their own, grievances with him. But for the people who did know about this, thank you for being there for me through all of this and supporting me and cheering me on. And there were a lot of people as well who, even though they didn't know anything, without asking any questions, they still were very kind and supportive, and I will always remember that for the rest of my life.
And she pretty much confirmed my suspicion that other streamers probably have their own stories about Miskif. So that's probably why nobody's surprised that he got called out for something like this. So it's a matter of time before other streamers start coming out with their own experiences with Miskif. She's also in the process of filing a restraining order against him, which is probably a good idea.
I also want to say, just so people know, that I'm not just trying to put this out there and then, I am already in the process of filing a restraining order on him in both Texas and California.
Anyways, that's about it. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.